Alright guys, time to settle in for story time. Might as well start at the beginning. I believe that's where all stories should start, is at the beginning. So, if you saw my last video, you saw that I picked up my dump trailer from a rental and I went to dump it at a dump site. Before I took my trailer and that trash to the dump, I had asked in the local Facebook group what dump around here would take household items, and that's what was in my trailer. That's what the customer had rented it for, was to clean out a garage, so it was household items. And numerous people told me that this dump took household items, so that's where I went to dump this load of trash. When I got there, it was very it was just trashy, if that makes sense. It looked unorganized. It was just very whatever. And I know it's a dump, and you're like, "Wow, it's trashy." It was trashy. It was just trashy. If you saw the video, I mean, if you saw the video, then you know. Anyways, I drive up into the property. I see canisters on the left, but I don't see anywhere to dump a dump trailer. And then I look in the back and I see a circle drive. Y'all would have seen that in the video, or not a circle drive, but just like a circle road in the back of the property in front of a burn pile. And you could see where they had frequently burned some trash, where they were pushing up trash and other debris and burning it. So I just assumed, okay, that's where people with trailers dump their trash. So as I take my truck and trailer back there, get it lined up, get out, somebody shows up there, and I told them that I'd never been there before, and I was asking if I was in the right spot, and I asked if he worked there. And the gentleman told me that he didn't work there full time, that he came up there throughout the week to help the attendant burn the trash. He said, "We push up right here and then we burn it." He said, "Where you're dumping is fine." So I proceeded to dump. Got all the trash out of the trailer, and I stood there and chit-chatted with the guy a while. He was nice. Didn't seem too odd, really, for backwoods Alabama. Didn't seem too odd at all. So I talked with him for a little bit, and I left. Then then I took my trailer to another rental. The next day at about 2 o'clock, my customer, who had rented the trailer the previous weekend, whose trash I just dumped, called me in a very upset mood. Very upset. And they were explaining to me that the county environmental officer had just left their house and had told them that they were going to be fined $3,000 because their trash was found at an illegal dump site. So when I hear that, I immediately kind of start to panic, because I hear fine, illegal dump site, officer. So it has really escalated just unexpectedly. So I'm oh man, my dogs are getting into my wife's tomato plants. She's not gonna like that. But anyway, Okay, they're out now. Make sure they're out. Okay. So, my customer continues to tell me that they're upset and they're concerned. And unknown to me at the beginning of my service of renting this trailer, I did not know, but they are well connected in the political scene. I'm just making sure these dogs aren't getting in trouble. So they are well connected in the political scene, and that's all I'll say, because I'm wanting to guard their privacy, like I said in the previous video. But they're well connected in the political scene. She was telling me that they know such and such and such and such, not threatening me, but telling me they can't have this getting out because it could be bad publicity. Can't speak this afternoon. For them, it would be bad for them if it got out that their trash was in an illegal dump site. So now I've got all that on my mind, and I'm trying, my mind's just racing. And she tells me that the officer said to call him. So I get off the phone with her, take a few seconds to calm down and try and gather my thoughts. And I go into address the fine, protect my customer. Those two are priority. So I call the officer, and he was very courteous, very kind, and he kind of joked, and he said, I figured you'd be calling me soon. And I was like, yes, sir, of course. I said, I'm wanting to get this handled straight away. So we talked for a little bit. I told him about the person that I'd met at the dump, and that this person had told me I was dumping in the right spot. I told him that my customer didn't have anything to do with the dumping location, that I was the one that dumped it. And he proceeded to tell me that if it didn't get cleaned up, it would be a $3,000 fine. So I tell him that I will clear my schedule for the next day, and that I will be out there to clean it up. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm not missing anything here. And he was very kind. He said that he's not trying to make an example out of me, and he was trying to help. So at this point, I'm trying to feel him out to see just how serious he is about that. And I'm just very cautious, So I call my customer back. I tell them I spoke with the officer, and that the officer says they are not responsible for the fine. Now that I have called and I've claimed, or I've made known that I was the one that dumped it, it is my responsibility. If anybody is fined, it would be me. So that was one thing that I got right off the bat, was I made sure my customer knew that no responsibility was on them to pay this fine, and that good stuff. But they were still very concerned about the reputation portion, understandably, because they are in politics on a higher level. And again, I did not know any of this. Not that it really matters, but I didn't know any of this whenever I took the job, or rented the trailer to them. So now that I know that I don't have to pay the fine because I'm going to get it cleaned up, I start worrying about making my customer satisfied completely. So I tell my customer I'm going to take care of everything. I'm going to handle all of it. And I can still tell that they're upset. So I call the officer back, and I inform him that I will be coming to the site tomorrow, and I will be cleaning it up. He says, I want to meet you out there. So I kind of get nervous about that. And at this point, the customer's satisfaction is my top priority. I'm a new business owner. I just started with this service, honestly, probably 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, renting my trailer. My entire LLC is less than a year old. So don't need this kind of reputation at all, but definitely not this early. And the thing about reputations, I mean, if you're doing a good job, that travels around pretty fast. That's how I've been able to get so much business. But especially if you get a bad reputation, that travels even faster. So I'm just trying to get ahead of this as much as I can. I call my customer back and I ask them, what can I do to make this right and to have you completely satisfied? And they just ask that I keep them updated throughout the entire process, that I take pictures of the cleanup, and they want to know where I'm taking it next. All of that I thought was reasonable. I find a dump, or once I talk more with the officer, I find out that there is no dump in my county where I can dump straight to the ground. And when I say dump straight to the ground, dump on like a pad and then it gets pushed up or gets pushed into a trailer or something like that. There's no actual dump in my county that's available to me. So I call a county that's actually 2 counties up, but it's not very far away. It's like 45 miles or something like that. I call them because I know that they had a dump, because I'd been there years ago and I knew that they had machines and everything. So I called them, and sure enough, they take all the stuff that I want to get rid of. So I get that number, I forward that number to my customer, let them know, hey, this is where I want to be taking the trash now, and are you okay with that? Because again, I want to make sure that they are satisfied in this process. And they give me a thumbs up, so that's where I plan on taking the trash. My wife ends up going with me to that dump to pick up this trash, and another friend who was very kind, very, very kind, to volunteer to come help me pick this stuff up. My wife probably came because she didn't want me to get into any more trouble. But she ended up coming, and we went out to this illegal dump site, and we met the officer, who happens to be the director of the environmental service in this department. And it's his job to go around and find illegal dump sites and all that kind of stuff. So I asked him, what did I do wrong? Where did I mess up here? And he said, it's not what you dumped, it is where you dumped it. So all the items that I had were the household items that were fine to be there, but because I dumped it on the ground, on that burn pile, that's what made it illegal. And I asked him, is that not where they burn the trash? You know, I said, it's obvious that people do this here, pull in and burn. And he said, yes, that is what happens here. He said, because this place cannot be manned all the time. The attendant isn't there all the time. And I did meet the attendant, older gentleman, very nice as well. He's pretty old, has some health issues, so he can't stay out there all day either. And we're talking, we are in the backwoods of Alabama, guys. So you would just have to know the backwoods of Alabama. But he said they do dump there and they do burn there. He said, but it's done illegally, and that they can't enforce it unless they're able to pin it on somebody specifically, like they did me. He said, and I asked, well, why don't y'all close the gate to keep people from getting in and out? I was just asking more questions about how I could avoid this in the future. And he said that they can't even shut the gate, that the gate is open 24/7, because if they shut the gate, then people just dump the trash in front of the gate at the dump, which is just sorry. So they leave the gate open, and people come and people with trailers dump just like I did. And the people that are over that particular site, they do push it up and they do burn it. But they're not supposed to. But they have to because they can't enforce all the other stuff. And I just so happened to get caught. So that's why I'm in this spot. So he said there wasn't nothing wrong with what I dumped. It was all about where I dumped it. So we get it cleaned up and all that good stuff. There's two kind of sides to the story. We get it all cleaned up. We avoid the fine. We get it to the other dump. We get it dumped. Get my trailer and all that stuff cleaned out. And all that. So in that case, it was closed. The thing that I would like to stress to new business owners, one thing in this specific scenario, call ahead to a dump that has a phone number. The original place that I went, like I said, backwoods of Alabama, didn't have a phone number. It was just, I mean, y'all saw it in the videos. It was wild. The second place and the last place that I took the trash, there was a phone number. There were multiple attendants there that I could talk to, and I was for sure that I could dump there. They knew I had a trailer. They knew I would be dumping it to the ground. Call the dump, call multiple dumps, and tell them what you're trying to do, and that way you'll know for certain that you're not breaking the law like I did. And the other thing I would say is make sure that your customer is satisfied. If you want any type of longevity in this, make sure your customer is satisfied. Go to whatever lengths that are within reason, maybe even a little extra, to make sure your customer is satisfied and that their concerns are addressed, you know. And all of that so far has turned out fine. That customer is actually using my trailer again this weekend. So I'm pretty sure that we've checked all the things, and everybody is good. Again, the officer was very nice, was very helpful, and told me to call him anytime that I had any questions and that he would help me in the future. Something else that I'm not going to go into too much detail on now because I don't know that much about it, but it will be awesome if it works out this way. He did say that there may be some future opportunities. The environmental officer said that to me. He said there may be some future opportunities, and we talked more about that. But again, that's all up in the air right now, and I don't want to go into too much detail about it because it's not set in stone. But anyways, guys, that was it. That was the big thing. I dodged a $3,000 fine. So the day that happened, I was working a job when they called me. And to get my trailer there the next day to get that cleaned up, I had to go get the trailer from a new rental. I'd already taken it the night before, remember, to the next rental. I had to go get that trailer and bring it back. When I went to get that trailer, the customer that had it told me that it wasn't lifting. So it ended up being a solenoid. I had to go get the solenoid for the trailer. I was supposed to start a beaver trapping job that following day. Couldn't do it because I was picking up trash. I was supposed to give out some stump grinding jobs that day. So it was a bunch of things, man. That was probably, if I'm thinking correctly, and I don't remember anything else, that's probably been the most stressful day I've had so far as a business owner, because so many different jobs got affected by that one situation. But Lord willing, we're gonna get it all squared away. We're gonna get back everything back on track. I ended up missing a rental because I had to go get that trailer back, but I've got a rental lined up this weekend. I have a rental lined up next weekend, and maybe we'll get some more. But anyways, that was it. Kind of a long story, but it was crazy how it happened, because I was on like a high, guys, because I had so many calls for rentals last weekend, and it was just like boom, 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 like 4 different calls for rentals for this trailer, and I was just like on a high. And then that day when I got that call saying that $3,000 fine, dude, I got sick for a little bit, guys. I got sick for a little bit. But anyway, that's the story. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Learn from my mistakes. And we'll see y'all in the next one. Y'all be good.